Hey everyone, Grand Fleet here. Welcome back to another installment of this series I call One Piece Character Series. Yep, very creative, and I totally took 5 hours to come up with that so original name. Anyway, if you guys checked out the last video, I suggest you do. It was all about Shura the Skyrider, where I'll link it in the description, by the way. And this series is basically, for the new people here, it is just, I'm going to be picking a character from the One Piece story. We're going to talk about him, talk about the arc he was introduced in, what happened in that arc. Well, of course, tidbits. We're not going to talk about the whole arc. His abilities, his devil fruit, if he possibly has one, if she possibly has one. What do they contribute to the story? Gags, things that Oda did with this character, mentioned. Just, having fun with it, talking everything about the character we know so far. I do want to clarify something I did not clarify last video, which again, I will link in the description, which you should really, really watch. I took my time and effort into editing it for you and recording it, so please, it'd be really nice if you guys just go clicked on it. And that is that I did not tell you guys how to actually tell me which characters you want me to put in these videos. For example, this video actually came out of a poll. It did not come out of me picking it like the last one. By the way, the poll, who won first, second, or third, no one voted for Satori, no one voted for Koza. Kind of like, okay, yeah, Satori, we just spoke about it, Sky Priest, why the hell would we talk about another one? Fair enough, we'll talk about it another day. Koza didn't win, you guys just did not want to talk about Koza. I thought it was pretty cool. I like Koza in Alabasta. He was one of the main protagonists with the Straw Hats and Vivi. Then we got, Rob Lucci. It's Rob Lucci, of course he's going to win. Then we got Gaimon, and surprisingly, Gaimon was the second most voted for. He got 37% or 38%, I can't really remember, one of those numbers. And Rob Lucci got 67% or 68% out of all your votes. So, if you want to next time contribute to a poll, when these videos come out and are edited and are on the channel, I put a community post out with them of what will be the next video. So just turn on those post notifications, subscribe if you want to, and like the video. Of course, the other way is to comment. But other than that, I don't really have anything else to talk about. Yeah, let's get started with this Rob Lucci video. Okay, starting off quickly and quick and whatever the hell I just said. Rob Lucci was first introduced as a Galileo member in chapter 230 and in the anime episode 323. He was introduced undercover as a Galileo member along with his other CP9 undercover operatives. Here are all the shipwrights that are undercover. We have Kaku, which is a CP9 member, and Rob Lucci's, well, basically best friend. Rob Lucci won't admit that though, let's be honest. Rob Lucci is a shipwright. Caulifla is not a shipwright. She's actually just a sexy secretary that works for Iceberg, which is still pretty good because she works so close to Rob Lucci since they're always near each other, since he's a shipwright that works for Iceberg and she's the secretary to Iceberg. We also got Jabra. Jabra is also a shipwright. Jabra is that person, and by the way, not a lot of people remember Jabra, which is really weird to me. There's Jabra, but the best way to describe him is that he's the guy with the wolf devil fruit that can turn into this werewolf. That's kind of it. He's also a shipwright. We don't see much of him other than for gags at the start of Water 7. He's mostly prevalent after Water 7 in Enies Lobby when he fights Sanji. And he's mostly well known for getting the first Diablo Jumbe. Sanji's like this, and he's mostly known as the first person to ever get kicked by a Diablo Jumbe by Sanji. That's what he's known for. And then we got the last one, and his name is Bluno. And I love Bluno because out of all the jobs he could have picked, he's the only person in CP9 that did not go undercover at the Galileo. And Bluno here works as a bartender of just Water 7. He has a really big bar, and it's Bluno's bar. That's what it's called. And he owns the bar, and it's pretty cool, and it's kind of smart actually, because where do you go to give information? At least in the pirate world, you go to a bar. You just talk about your problems with a bartender. And now he just sucks in all the information around the town, knows where to go at night, and that's how he infiltrated Water 7. He's actually pretty strong. Oh, and yeah, one more person I forgot to mention on the CP9 crew is Rob Lucci's bird. Also, he has a name. His name is actually Hatori. And fun fact, revealed it in SBS. Hatori is actually the name for like peace in Japanese. There was like a thing written on the shirt of Rob Lucci as a child, because Oda did draw him as a child, and it written peace, and Hatori was with him. And revealed in the anime and in the manga, Rob Lucci had this bird ever since childhood, which is pretty cute, even though Rob Lucci's a killer. But you know, we skip all that. Look at the bird. Look at the bird. He's so cute. Now, going on to the kid part of Rob Lucci, I just want to get this out of the way really quickly, because there's not much about his kid version. So the first time we ever see Rob Lucci as a kid is when Oda drew him as a kid, and again, this is his kid, thing. In the anime, the latest we see him is 8 years old, and he is training on an island where the government probably took Rob Lucci as an orphan, because that's what they do. They take CP9 members as orphans, and then they take him to a remote facility, probably a government facility, and then train them until they turn old enough, 18 years old, and they just put them in their CP9, their CP1, CP2, CP3, CP4, CP5, CP6, CP7, CP8, and CP9. If you're strong enough, you go to CP9, which is the highest, and then CP1 is like the weakest, CP2, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you're 8, you're pretty good. CP9, you're like top tier secret. And then there's like this new CP0, which even though it's the lowest, it is the strongest, even stronger than CP9, which is where Rob Lucci and Kaku and the new character Stussy is there right now. So first we're going to talk about Rob Lucci's abilities and what he can do, what he did against Luffy in his big fight with Luffy going gear second, and how he kind of just fooled everyone in Water 7 to think he was just a nice shipwright guy. His devil fruit is called the Neko Neko no Mi. Neko Neko no Mi model jaguar, where he turns to this big jaguar. That's his devil fruit. Mostly, it's like any other Zoan devil fruit. He has a hybrid form and his regular form, and he could just straight turn into a jaguar if he wanted to. Of course, not full jaguar. We already saw him turn into like a full jaguar against Luffy the first time they met, actually, was when he just transformed. For his other abilities, we have his Rokushiki techniques. So the main 3 Rokushiki techniques that Rob Lucci uses, because there are multiple, he uses these main 3 that he uses against Luffy and throughout the Enies Lobby story. In Water 7, he barely uses it in Water 7, because in Water 7 he used Moonwalk. Moonwalk is the thing that Sanji knows how to do. It's probably most relevant now, because when Sanji wants to walk on air, he's using Moonwalk. It's a Rokushiki technique. Rob Lucci uses Moonwalk, but the Rokushiki techniques that he used against Luffy the most, especially in combat, since Rob Lucci is very lustful, rageful, wants bloodthirsty killing, which again I will touch on in the backstory portion of the video. The first one's called Gaiko, or it's Gaisho or Gaiko, I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm gonna say Gaiko. Gaiko is when he takes his, it's just basically like a huge blast. Think of a Dragon Ball Z blast, but like there's no physical blast form there. It's kind of just Gecko, and then you just pew, shot out. And then he has his probably his most famous one, because he says it so well because of his voice. Shigan, Shigan, Shigan. He goes Shigan, and then he like takes his fingers and then it turns into like claws, and you can just do all of them. Now, I do have to clarify that Rob Lucci can do all of the Rokushiki techniques. These are just the main abilities he uses against Luffy, and probably his most like special ones. But that's what makes him so deadly. He can use all. He can use Moonwalk. He can use Iron Body, which is where your body becomes straight up iron, which wasn't a problem for Luffy against Bluno, because Bluno's main, a thing was he can go Iron Body. And it wasn't really confirmed, but apparently people think it is stronger than Lucci's Iron Body. It's just Lucci's more powerful because he can use all of them. And, Bluno could only use the Iron Body, as well as other things, but mostly the Iron Body. And he trained that up to be stronger than Lucci's, which I do believe. But Lucci's just stronger because he can utilize everything at once. Then we have his final Rokushiki technique that he used I think twice or 3 to 4 times against Luffy. I think this is the one he used. This is when Luffy used Gear 3rd against them, when we first saw how Gear 3rd like really looked like, and kind of disappointed. Like, we're like, oh, Gear Second's so cool. Then we see Gear Third. It's big fist, but again, it's all paid off at the end of the day. Let's just move on. When he got shot out of the CP9, any slobby building at the top where Luffy and him were fighting, and he punches him, and he just goes through the wall and lands on a marine base ship. Since the Buster Call from Spondum was sent, he lands on a marine base ship instead of in the water. But again, Rakugan's kind of similar to Geico. Geico's more of a... He kind of uses Shave, which again, Shave, I didn't really want to mention Shave because Shave's like probably one of the most common ones, because Shave is what Luffy uses for Gear Second, which most people know of. It's the most common Rokushiki technique, but Shave is just moving really fast. So Geico, the first Rokushiki technique I talked about for Rob Lucci, he uses that more than Rokugan because it's not more, well, it is more effective because he used it more than Rakugan, but when he used a Geico, he used Shave, then he used Geico. So it's like a strategic maneuvering. So if Luffy's standing in front of him, he uses Shave, and he goes behind him, and then Geico, and blasts him. With Rokugan, it's the same as Geico, except way more powerful. It's a blast. Of course, you don't see the blast physically. It's kind of like an air blast, which is like hand, and then just air blast. You just don't see it, but it's there. It's hurting you. Except this one, you're not really using Shave or nothing. He's just, well, at least maybe he could have, but in the anime and in the manga, he has not done this. He kind of just, every time he used it, he just was like, Rokugan! And then it was like a huge, massive thing. Not really anything else there on the Rokushiki side of things. But his last ability, which I can't touch on a lot because we genuinely haven't seen him use this, but Oda has confirmed, and if it came straight from Oda, it has to be true, especially when it comes to the One Piece series. If it's something else, like, hey, Oda, are fries potatoes? And Oda's like, no, actually, they're not potatoes. Where's your proof? Trust me, bro. That's my source. Like, no, it's potatoes. I don't know why I came up with that as an example, but I did. So there you go, guys. There's your example. Like, Oda could come out tomorrow and say, Dracula Mihawk is actually Shanks in disguise. But we can't say nothing. It has to be true. Oda said it. He created it. What are we gonna do? This was like after the time skip. Someone asked, hey, does Rob Lucci have hockey? And he's like, yup. After they left, they learned hockey. So then it was like, what type of hockey? Kambochu hockey. And I'm pretty sure I butchered that. But Kamboshiki, I think it's called. Is armament hockey. Armament hockey is what he has. It's been confirmed by Oda. He has armament hockey. Again, we don't know to the extent of how well he can use it. Probably pretty good after 2 years of training. He probably is very good at it. Because I know people forget, since we are so stuck to the, now at least, because we're with Kaido and Big Mom and Luffy and Kid and Law, all these people that can use all three types of hockey. Of course, there's exceptions, of course, but especially with our main character Luffy able to use all three, we forget that hockey's a really hard thing to learn, and that Luffy's just like the main character. So what are we gonna do about it? But here's the thing: he only learned one type, so he focused all of it on armament hockey. We don't know about Kaku. We don't know about Stussy. We don't know about the Bird. Maybe the Bird has Conqueror's hockey. Who knows? Actually, you know what would be cool? If Rob Lucci has armament hockey, punches, let's go Blackbeard. He punches Blackbeard in the gut. He's like, lucky shot. Zeh, ha, ha, ha. But then he just looks at his shoulder, and the Bird just gives him he's like sleeping, gives him the, and then he opens his eyes. Conqueror's hockey. Bird death. But that's actually all his abilities. There's not really any other ability for him. I covered, I covered his Devil Fruit, the Neko Neko no Mi model Jaguar. I covered all of his Rokushiki techniques from Moonwalk. He can use hockey as well, which is an ability. Hockey is an ability. We just haven't seen him use it. So Rob Lucci, as all of CP members, not CP9, CP being CP1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or not 10, 9, and 0 would be the strongest in case. I think that was created later on, but again, another video for another day. Now, Rob Lucci was an orphan, just like many other of these CP members, unless you were a person that was in a family of assassins. For example, Caulifla, the person that was the sexy secretary in Water 7. This is what she looks like. I know. Simp over her. Go for it. I did it when I first saw her too. So she's a part of the family of assassins. So she was probably just admitted there. Lucci was an orphan. Most CP members are orphaned. They train them in a secret government facility. I already said this. And then as soon as they're trained high enough, whatever, guess you... Let's go with Doriki you are. They'll put you in that CP, and he was high enough to be in CP9. Now, at 13 years old, Rob Lucci was already one of the strongest out there in the CP9. And this was stated by none other than Bartholomew Kuma. Even back then, when he was just like a little kid, Rob Lucci was murderful. And this is, in the anime, they definitely did a great job. This is the one time I'll say the anime did tremendously better than the manga. Because I don't know if it would have helped out. I don't know if he did help out. If he did, good. If he didn't, that's fine. But the manga, the anime, amazing. Flowers. Because they did it amazingly. Just to showcase how good Rob Lucci is. Now, technically, you can count this as filler. Because it didn't happen in the manga. It was never drawn in the manga. So, yeah. But it did happen. It was canon. That Oda did say it was canon. So it's canon. So we see Rob Lucci, and he's 12 to 13 years old. He comes on the sound that is being held hostage by these pirates. These pirates are holding 500 people hostage in the whole town and throw them in this huge room. While they drink at a bar, Rob Lucci walks in and says, "Get out of my town." Now, this sounds like I'm about to say a bar joke. And then he walked in and said, "Get out of my town." What do you say next? You say, no, let's not do this. But Rob Lucci said, "Get out of my town." These pirates are all cocky. They're like, "Who the hell are you?" And no. And then Rob Lucci's like, "All right then, I'll just have to kick your ass." And they're like, "No." So they hold a gun up to Rob Lucci. And then they walk him towards the place where they're keeping the hostages. So they put him inside this hostage place. And before they close the door, they say, "We'll be back later. And if you make any more noises, we'll slaughter you and everyone here, all 501 of you," literally, because 500 and Rob Lucci means one. So all these people tied up with chains, Rob Lucci just sitting there standing, lifeless expression. Yep. Sure, buddy. So they close the door, and then I think it was the daytime or a couple hours later, they come back to the place where they're holding the hostages. And they open the door, and they're all piled up bodies, dead. And the person standing on top of those pile of bodies is Rob Lucci. And they're like shocked, like, "What the hell? What did he do?" And then they're all dead. They realize all these people, all 500 are all dead. And they realize Rob Lucci did it. This 13-year-old kid, 12 to 13-year-old kid, beat all these people by himself. Then the guards try to shoot, the pirate guards try to shoot Rob Lucci. Then he uses shave and then kills the pirates. And then he kind of just, it's not really implied if he left the island or not, but he probably did. And then now we go back to present time. But what happens after Enies Lobby? What happens after? Rob Lucci is beat up. He's unconscious. And the first person that wakes up after all this is Bluno. And I forgot to mention, Bluno has the door fruit, where you can create doors in like anywhere. Just make it out of air. Just open a door and hop in it, and he's like in this pocket dimension. And anytime he wants to get out, he just opens the door and gets out the pocket dimension, or creates a new door to somewhere else and gets out of the pocket dimension. So this is what he did. He went around, he hopped out the door. Problem is that now that the Straw Hats are gone from Enies Lobby, they've escaped. There's only one problem. Everyone in CP9 is completely like knocked out. Kaku's knocked out because Zoro defeated him. Caulifla's knocked out because Nami defeated him. Nami defeated her. Jabra's knocked out because Sanji did the Jabla Jumba and like straight up killed him. And then we have Lucci, which got beat the shit out of. He's definitely the one with the most injuries. And it's definitely proven by the cover story that we do get for them, which is this. This is what happens. This is the cover story. I'm telling you what the cover story is. So even though they're all unconscious, it's getting buster called. So again, Spawn called the buster call. That did not stop. They're still nuking the island. The island is going away. Straight up, like O'Hara. It doesn't exist. Same like the Lucia Kingdom. Like again, I can't say too much about Lucia or O'Hara because the world government is listening. Calm down, guys. So apparently, you see Rob Lucci, unconscious, and then Bluno, being the goat he is, grabs all of them, takes them in his pocket dimension, and as soon as the English lobby gets buster called, blown up, and all the Marines leave, he gets out of his pocket dimension. Everyone wakes up except for Rob Lucci. They go to a different town. They go to a Marine base nearby. They knock out that Marine, take their battleship, go to another island, and then settle there. And on that island, I'm going to speak through this because there's like funny gags, and I'll say some of them. Like the funniest one was when Lucci was so badly hurt. Like again, he's the worst out of all of them. All of them are fine. They're awake. They have like some bloody wounds. But Lucci is unconscious still. He's been unconscious for days. He's still unconscious. They're on this new town. Everyone's looking at him. And they have like their shirts with the government still, like their black shirt. They're like, okay, we know who they are. They're CP something because CP9 is secret organization. CP8 is not. CP7 is not. CP6 up to CP1, CP0 is, and CP9 is. So that's what kind of happens. And then to make money for Lucci's medical bills, Kaku and Jabra, even though they're rivals, make like a circus show on the street to make money for Lucci's medical bills. Jabra turns into a werewolf, jumps through a hoop. This is real, by the way. The only reason I'm not putting them on screen, I'll try putting some. If I can, I just can't. The only reason I'm not is because of copyright reasons and how, Viz Media will copyright me instantly if I put a manga panel, an official one, on screen. So this is what happened. Jabra's jumping through hoops, through like a giraffe hoop that like he made with his head, and Kaku after that makes like a slide for the children, so people are like sliding down his neck, like down like a slide, like with his giraffe fruit. Cauliflower is cleaning the streets with her soap fruit, and they make enough money, and then they pay for his medical bills. Rob Lucci wakes up after who knows how long, a week, 2 weeks, 5 days, who knows, and then at the end of the cover story, they're playing bowling. So it's basically like he woke up and he was like, oh goddamn, what the hell? What happened? All I remember was this rubber kid beating the hell out of me. Oh yeah, Cock's like Rob, yeah man, sorry, we're no longer even in East Lobby anymore. I got bombed. Got a straight up buster called, man. But you want to play some bowling? Yeah, we can go play some bowling. And that's what they do. That's what they do. They go play some bowling. And right at the end, when they leave the island, or when they're about to leave the island, there are these pirates that show up at the island called the, wait for it, Candy Pirates. Yep, that's their name, the Candy Pirates. The Candy Pirates are just these pirates that just want treasure, and they're like, all right, me hearties, let's get the treasure and stuff and do whatever the hell. So that's what they do. But then Rob Lucci's there to stop them, and in his Rob Lucci fashion, his lustful killing, he kills all of them, like straight up, just they all die, and that's rare for One Piece, but it is a cover story. They're all dead, and they're like, citizens are about to thank Rob Lucci, like, yes, thank you so much, until they see how bad Rob Lucci and his teammates are just like stomping. Like you just see Rob Lucci in the back going, die, 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 Shigun, Shigun, Shigun. And then just see Sylvia in the back, oh, thank you. What the fuck? Hey, there's a giraffe. Oh, he's still a bit cute. What the hell is that cute for? Shigun. No, it's insane. It's insane. And then, I think at the end, there's like this little girl. Like everyone's running away, going back to their houses. There's like this little girl brings a flower, and then she's like to Cauliflower, which was the sexy secretary, and like thank you for saving us, and just gives her like a flower. And she's like, oh, thank you, and like puts it on her puts it on her ear, or inside her hair, I guess you could say. And then that's the cover story. They steal another Marine ship, or take the one they came in. I don't actually remember, but one of the two. And they go, and then they get a Den Mushy, and they call the world government, or spawn them to be specific, and they go, hey, well, Rob Lucci does. He goes, hey, guess what? I'm going to get my revenge on you, and then hangs up. On the other side of the line was Spondum and his dad Spondine. Very clever name, right? Spondine and Spondum are like coming up with a plan, and then that's when the cover story ends. And we didn't see them until CP0, where they're wearing their white coats, and then he's saying, like, Rob Lucci's like, our job is to protect the celestial dragons. Yeah. But okay, thanks guys for watching. Yep, that was all of it. Now, I know everything has been all over the place in this video, but that was because Rob Lucci is just a really cool character to talk about. Actually, I don't even mind making a part 2, because there's so much stuff to talk about with him. It's insane. Way more than Shura. Shura's video was like 26 minutes long. I'm sure this will be at least a little bit longer, or even way, way longer. What's the recording on to right now? Oh crap, like 47 minutes. Okay, let's just wrap this up really quickly. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, if you guys want to pick a character for the next one, which I'll be posting probably next week, I'm going to try to take a break off these character videos and post one next week, or I'll just save this one and post it after the chapter review. Next video will most likely be a chapter review. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, put a like, subscribe. Again, you don't have to. But if you did watch all the way through, it'd be nice if you did. But other than that, yeah, I'm done. And that'd be me. That's Grand Fleet signing out once again. See you guys.